So, if you're renting in New Zealand, you've almost certainly handed over a bond. And let's be real, it's a big chunk of cash, right? Getting it back can feel, well, a bit mysterious. So today, we're going to pull back the curtain and demystify the whole thing, from start to finish. I mean, this is the big one, isn't it? The million-dollar question, or, the couple $1,000 question. But here's the good news. Getting your bond back isn't about luck. It's all about knowing the rules and knowing your rights. So let's break it all down.
Okay, first things first. We got to be crystal clear on what a bond actually is. Because trust me, understanding its very specific legal purpose, that's your first line of defense in protecting your money.
Okay, so the most important words on this slide, held in trust. This is absolutely crucial. A bond is not your landlord's personal piggy bank or slush fund. It is your money protected by law, and it can only be used to cover very specific proven costs. That's it.
So what's the limit? How much can they actually ask for? Well, the law is super simple on this one. A maximum of 4 weeks' rent. That is the hard limit. Anything more is straight up illegal. And no, they can't ask for any other kind of security, like trying to hold onto your car keys or something weird like that.
All right, you've paid the bond. Now comes what is maybe the most important step in this entire process. And look, I know it seems like boring paperwork, but this is your legal lifeline. This is the step that makes sure your money is safe and accounted for.
So, your landlord has 3 jobs to do here, and these are non-negotiable legal duties. 1, they have to give you a receipt, right there, on the spot. 2, they need to fill out the official bond lodgement form with you. And 3, and this is the big one, they have just 23 working days to get your money and that form over to Tenancy Services.
And this is where you come in. You need to keep an eye on the mail because Tenancy Services will send you a letter confirming your money is safe. Now, if, say, 6 weeks go by and nothing, don't just sit there and hope for the best. It is absolutely time to pick up the phone and start asking questions.
And let's be really clear about this. A landlord not lodging your bond isn't just a whoops moment or some lazy admin. No way. Under the Residential Tenancies Act, it is an unlawful act. They are breaking the law, and it is taken very seriously.
And how seriously, you ask? Well, check this out. An Invercargill landlord was hit with a penalty of over $38,000 for failing to lodge 54 separate bonds. Ouch! And it's not a one-off. Here's another one. An Auckland landlord had to pay out almost $25,000 for not lodging 32 bonds. You could see a pattern here, right? The Tenancy Tribunal does not mess around.
And get this, it's not even just about failing to lodge it. Just being late is a huge deal. A property manager in Tauranga got slapped with a fine of over $16,000 just for delaying the lodging of 73 bonds. That 23-day rule, it's a hard deadline.
So what does all this mean for you? Well, this is the really important bit. It's not just about getting your bond lodged. It's about your right to be compensated if they don't. If your landlord breaks this rule, you can take them to the Tenancy Tribunal, and they could be ordered to pay you a penalty of up to $1,000. Okay, let's fast forward. You're at the end of your tenancy. The boxes are packed. You're ready to move on. Now for the main event. How do you get that cash back into your bank account where it belongs?
So when everything goes to plan, it's a pretty simple 4-step dance. First, you do a final walkthrough of the property together. Pro tip, this is where having your own move-in photos is an absolute lifesaver. Second, you both sign the refund form, agreeing on the amount. Third, send it off. And fourth, you should see a refund in about 5 to 10 working days. Easy as that.
But what if you don't agree? What if the landlord wants to deduct something you think is unfair? This is so important to understand. The money gets frozen. Tenancy Services will not pay out a single cent to anyone until you both come to an agreement or the Tenancy Tribunal steps in and makes the final call.
And we've arrived at the main event, the great debate. Deductions. This is where most of the arguments happen. So what can a landlord actually, legally, take from your bond? And, probably more importantly, what are they absolutely not allowed to touch?
Okay, let's make this super simple. In this corner, we have legitimate claims, things like unpaid rent or actual damage that you or your guests caused. But in the other corner, we have the things they absolutely cannot claim for. This includes fair wear and tear, we'll get to that, or trying to make you pay for professional cleaners.
All right, let's talk about your new best friend, fair wear and tear. This is a golden concept. It basically means you are not responsible for the house just getting older. Carpet fades in the sun,
paint gets a bit dull over time, bench tops get worn down from, well, being used. That's just the cost of doing business for the landlord. It is not your bill to pay.
I bet you've seen this clause in a tenancy agreement before. It's everywhere. The tenant must pay for professional cleaning. It sounds so official, right? It sounds totally binding. But there's a pretty big but coming.
Let me be as clear as I possibly can be. This clause is 100% completely, totally unenforceable. A landlord cannot legally force you to hire and pay for professional cleaners. It does not matter if it's in the agreement you signed. The law of the land trumps a clause in a tenancy agreement every single time.
So what is your actual legal obligation? It comes down to this simple phrase: reasonably clean and tidy. Notice what it doesn't say. It doesn't say sparkling, spotless, or hotel standard. It just means clean enough that a normal, reasonable person would say, yep, that's clean and tidy.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground. How do you take all this information and turn it into real-world action? How do you build a shield around your bond right from day one?
All right, let's recap. Think of this as your bond protection toolkit. Remember these key rights. You have the right to a receipt right away. You have the right to have your bond lodged properly and on time. You have the right to a full refund if you've done your part. You have the right to dispute any deduction you think is unfair. You have a right to be compensated if your landlord messes up. And you only have to pay for actual and reasonable costs. These aren't just suggestions, people. These are your legally protected rights.
So at the end of the day, it all boils down to one thing. Knowledge is power. That bond was always your money, and now you know the rules of the game. You're ready to protect it.